Today I'm going to show you my first-hand experience of the devastation on the Appalachian Trail, and I'm going to bring to you the information from trail maintainers and folks that live in the community around the Appalachian Trail, exactly what they've seen out there, exactly what's been done on the trail to make repairs to clear it for hikers so that folks can get back out there on the trail. I'm also going to show you how the unselfish volunteers have been out there and just spent hours and hours of back-breaking hard work to get the trail cleared for folks to get back out there. And the huge progress that they have made. It's been awesome to see that. It's also been awesome just to see what has happened out there on the trail. So first off, let me just say right off the bat that what is going on the trail pales in comparison to the loss of life, to the loss of property, to the loss throughout western North Carolina and Virginia and Tennessee, and everybody that either lost somebody or lost everything they had. It's impacted everything from lives to jobs to you name it. And so, you know, folks in the hiker community that are service providers of the hiker community, they've been affected just as folks in communities where they've lost jobs or their jobs been shut down. And so all that pales in comparison. All that is first and foremost in our minds for people to get back to just their daily lives out there. So people say it's just a trail, and that is true. All the other stuff is what comes first. However, it is a trail where we go to get our lives back in order, to where we go to escape out to God's creation and just decompress, to get ourselves mentally back in a good place, to escape, you know, what goes on in our day-to-day lives as far as jobs and issues back, you know, in your neighborhood or in your town and stuff, where you just need to get away from it. So for that reason, the trail is important too. Not as important as people's lives, not as important as people's livelihood and everything, but the trail is important. And so I want to bring this to people and let you know what's going on out there on the trail. I mean, over 3 million people visit the Appalachian Trail every year. Over 3 million people go there to decompress themselves, just to get their mindset right and everything. And so, first off, the state of Appalachian Trail is good. Not great, but it is good. And I'm specifically talking about the areas that were affected by Hurricane Helene. Now, that being said, things are getting better and better each and every day. It changes so fast based upon, you know, what sawyers have been where, how many sawyers have been out there, how many volunteers have been able to get out there, how many of the National Forest Service have been able to get out there and have actually cleared part of the trail as opposed to just clearing fire roads. So it changes every single day. So come to this channel for updates, and there's other places that you can go out there for updates, but I'm going to keep everybody updated on the changes as they occur. So we had somewhere around 822,000 acres that were damaged, and that's just in North Carolina alone. That doesn't include Tennessee and Virginia. And in North Carolina, we had almost $250 million worth of timber that is now horizontal instead of vertical out there. So while I was up there visiting, I saw these huge trunks of trees that are perhaps hundreds of years old, in some cases that are all intertwined, all stacked on top of each other. So all of that is very dangerous for sawyers. You know, you've got trees that are under tension, trees on top of trees on top of trees on top of trees, and you just don't know what's going to happen when you stick a saw in it and break that logs loose. So that is yeoman's work that they're doing up there, but it is very, very dangerous, and we just appreciate everything that they are doing up there. So the AT is wounded, but with the help of these tireless volunteers, it's coming back. So it's going to look a little different when they get done with it in there. It will recover, maybe not in our lifetimes, but it is going to look a little different, and she'll be there nonetheless. And I believe after seeing what I did this past week that it is going to be back there sooner rather than later. So I went up to Iron Mountain Gap in Tennessee. That was one of the places that I saw a lot of devastation from some Facebook pages and from other people that had sent me video of where they had been up through there. Gazelle had sent in some pictures and sent in this video that her father took where he was out there on the trail, and it really does look like a bomb went off. It looks like, you know, back in 1908 there was this huge asteroid that came or meteor and blew up over Siberia, Russia, and leveled millions of trees out there. Or St. Helens, Mount St. Helens, when it blew up in the 80s. Same thing happened to it. Well, that's what some of those areas remind me of, that it looks like up there. So when I was at Iron Mountain Gap, I could only get about a quarter mile in on the Sobo side, and then it completely petered out to where I could go no further. Here's a video of that. So this is the AT trailhead here at Iron Mountain Gap. Right there's the AT, a blue white blaze. There's another white blaze down there. You see all this destruction and stuff that you got going on up there. And then also, then it crosses the road here. You see a white blaze, a double white blaze over there, meaning it's going to change. So I want to come up here and see it myself. I was down at Uncle Johnny's interviewing them, and just kind of wanted to walk the trail here and see it for myself. And right off the bat, pretty much utter devastation, but folks have been through here. So we have had trail maintainers coming through here, because I am on the trail and the trail has been cleared. Now they've also been logging it up there on the road, and you see the whole canopy is completely gone up there, but these aren't loggers. These are AT maintainers coming through here. And it looks like they're doing a pretty bang up job of it. The stuff that's above your head, no point doing that. They're even fixing where these root balls came out. They're even fixing that. Way to go, maintainers. Yeah, this is looking good through here. So I mean, they have really come through here and put some dirt back and stuff, and of course it's really soft, so it's going to erode pretty quick coming through here. But wow, what a majestic forest to be horizontal instead of vertical, you know. Hate to see that, obviously, but it is what it is. And I got to thinking, you know, I know this is terrible, but it is a short section when you take into account the entire AT. So it's going to be different. It's going to be different for the class of 25 and everybody afterwards. Man, they have had, look at that. I got to stop and take a picture of the heart tree. Just acres and acres and acres of trees. But again, these guys are doing a killer job of filling in the root balls, you know, and then like no point in worried about pinching your saw in this little stuff. If you can get through here, which is going to be a pain with a pack on, but you can get through there all right. And I'm sure that right now they're just trying to get it passable. Eventually they'll come back and pretty it up, as it were. All right, I don't know if I've come to the end of what actual trail maintainers that I believe I have. So they have not gotten too far in, and to be honest with you, I'm assuming this is trail, given it's a pretty beaten path, but of course all the white blazes are gone. Let me step over here just a little bit further. Oh. See if I see anything else, another blaze at all. No, they haven't started cutting through here. I need to look at far out and see if I'm even still on the trail. I'm assuming I am, but I don't see a treadway anywhere around me other than a flat spot here. and it's not passable after that. So the next road crossing is about 7 miles trail south there at Unica Mountain. Then when I stepped over on the north side, they have begun clearing. The Forest Service and trail maintainers have been in there, and they have been clearing that section in there. So that is getting passable. It did not go through there very far, but it is definitely getting passable through there.
All right, I'm on the other side heading Nobo. On a closed sign I see is it talks about the Roan How Knob is closed. It says it has no floor at present. So they've apparently torn out the floor. They had some logs that were rotting on the bottom they're having to replace. So they're torn out the floor and jacking it up and replacing those. So this is on the north side of Iron Mountain Gap. Certainly not going all the way to Carver's. But that kind of gives you an idea of where I'm at there.
So the next major road crossing is Hughes Gap, just before you get to Roan Mountain. So it's past Greasy Creek Gap right there. And I'm told that that section in there is not passable. So the next place there is actually Hughes Gap, where you can get on trail there, and that is passable all the way through past the Roan Mountain or the High Knob, Roan High Knob shelter. So the shelter itself is closed, and that has been closed before Hurricane Helene came through here. The Blue Blaze up to it is completely bombed out. You cannot get in there. Maintainers right now have been working on that, and it's closed because the bottom logs on it are rotted out. And this was the caretaker's cabin from when there was a forest tower there. So it's been shut down for them to replace those bottom logs. But they couldn't get up there. They had to bushwhack in there, but they did go in there and get it stabilized for the winter. So, but you don't need to be going up in there, and you can't get up in there anyway. But you go past Roan High Knob there, and you keep on going. So all the way through the Roan Mountain Highlands, all the way to Carter Gap, and then through there past the Over Mountain Gap, and then down to 19E. All of that is passable. We did lose a bridge on the south side of 19E, crossing there, footbridge. However, that can be forded. My understanding is, so that's not a big deal. And then the bridge on the north side, that was that we didn't lose that bridge. So good to hear about that. And then all up in that area in the Walnut Mountain and in the Dennis Cove, there's a lot of trail that is accessible up there. My understanding is that National Forests have cut all the way from 19E up to the bitter end, which is National Forest Service Road 293. And so that's been cut. Heard that from Jim, the maintainer. While I was over there, or I went over from Iron Mountain Gap, I went over to Walnut Mountain Road crossing over there. And while I was there, Emoji, the trail angel, she was there waiting on the hiker to come through. He was coming subo from Boots Off, and I also spoke to Gazelle and her partner Platinum. They went up there and they indicated that it had been cleared all the way from Walnut Mountain all the way to 293. And the hiker that Emoji was waiting on was coming from Boots Off. And he said that he made it through there fine. Matter of fact, he made it all the way up to Walnut Mountain. But when you get to Walnut Mountain road crossing, the north side or the south side of that is bombed out, and so you cannot get through there. So he did bushwhack and got through there and wound up down at Buck Mountain, Campbell Road crossing, and so all of that he was able to get through there with no problem. Well, relatively speaking, there was a few blowdowns that he had to go around, but it's nothing that it was hikeable in his opinion. Now, from Walnut Mountain though, south side, on past Mountaineer's Shelter a ways, he said it was absolutely horrid and he could not get through there. And then he also said that around the Elk River there was a lot of trash. So the trail parallels the Elk River there, and it comes down kind of low and it's flat. He said that all of that had a lot of trash from where it had been washed in from upstream there at the Elk River from the destruction upstream. So that was all trashed out through there as well. So he said only the last few miles getting into Buck Mountain there, road crossing there at that church, did it start to get easier. Also heard from Jim, who's a maintainer out there. He indicated that the Campbell Hollow Road crossing there up to mile 400 in Buck Mountain Road, they have been through that, and that is clear from there. And Steve from Unicoi Shuttles, he's been also providing me for some information. He reminds everybody the Pisgah National Forest is closed, which is an issue because the Pisgah and the Cherokee are what separates them as Tennessee North Carolina line, and so the trail runs in and out of Tennessee and North Carolina there, so thus it runs in and out of Cherokee and Pisgah National Forest. Pisgah's closed, Cherokee is not, so you don't know where in the forest you're going to be in Cherokee or Pisgah. It's not marked, and so it's kind of a pain. And in the Pisgah, they're saying that, well, we can fine you and we can imprison you if we catch you in there. Now, I've only heard one person tell me that has occurred, and that was actually secondhand that they told me that. So I don't know that that's actually occurring. They're finding people out there. Realistically, they need people to get in there and do some cutting. Not suggesting you go in there and do that at all unless you're certified, unless you're with an official volunteer group. But they've got to have people to get in there to get it cleared. Steve also said that the Spivey Gap to Nolichucky River there is not clear. So had been some folks saying that it was, and it is. He indicated that it is not. And he also had some hikers contact him that he shuttled in from Devil's Fork Gap, Sobo to Allen Gap, and they said that section was all clear in there, and that the trail is totally hikable from the Nolichucky to mile 360. And then, of course, at 360.5, that's at Iron Mountain Gap, and that's where it is a huge problem through there. He also indicated that Wilbur Dam Road in Damascus is bad, and I also talked to a hiker, Tennessee, this morning, and he said that he left out of Damascus, and it wasn't too long where he just came across blowdown after blowdown after blowdown and just wadded all up, and he could not get through, heading Sobo to Shady Valley, so he had to turn back around to Damascus and catch a ride on out. Elk Garden, which is south of trail south of Thomas Knob there, around Mount Rogers. So that is really kind of the last point heading south from Virginia that you can get in and make it. Once you get to Elk Garden, there are hundreds of trees that are down across the trail, and a trail runner posted there that you cannot proceed past Elk Garden because there's so much damage in there. There's also a short section up in Atkins, Virginia. I think it's only like 25 miles that's got to be cleared. However, it's my understanding that's going to be cleared here pretty quickly. So really, once you get up to Elk Garden, heading Nobo, then it's clear sailing all the way to Maine from there. And when I say clear sail, I mean there's still going to be some issues, still going to be some blowdowns, but it is hikeable going up through there, and it's actually open going up through there as well. I've also been informed that the National Park Service is sending in sawyers to start in Southern Virginia. They're going to be based out of the Damascus Trail Center there, the ATC Damascus Trail Center, and they're going to be sawing starting in Southern Virginia. They're going to be at least for a week. I don't know why they're not going to be staying longer, but hopefully they will be staying longer than a week. But they're going to be starting in Southern Virginia. So hopefully they'll get that section there at Elk Garden all the way into Damascus, and then continue from Damascus south. And if there's any size crew at all, they should be able to come in there and maybe get us over to Wilbur Dam Road, which is over at Hampton near Boots Off Hostel. So I'm putting all this together because I think it's important that people stay informed out there. There's really been too much doom and gloom going on with the trail. So yes, the trail has been damaged, been hurt, but it is under repair. It's going to be coming back. It's going to be different. It's going to look different than it has in years past, but it's still going to be hikeable. Still going to be a place we can go. The ATCs, what their plan is to have a continuous footpath through 2025. Sandra Mara, however, has come out and said that, and she's made it official because she's come out and told the television stations that it may be, sections of the trail may be closed through 2025 and beyond.
Mara says the trail's reopening is to be determined.
I think that there are going to be sections of the trail that are going to have to remain closed for the foreseeable future. I would say at least through next year's hiking season.
I don't believe that. I think that is way too much doom and gloom out there. I mean, if TDOT can, in 5 weeks, can put up a concrete reinforced bridge to open up 26 there in Irwin and to get traffic flowing there, I think we can get the trail open sometime in 2025 and even early 2025. So, of course, we'd like to have it for the no-mow season and have it open for a continuous footpath, but there's more than just no-mow people that use the Appalachian Trail. Like I said, there's over 3 million people. There's only 3,000 plus or minus no-mow and SOBO and flip-floppers that through hike the trail each year. So it's important for all of us, no matter what type of hiker you are out there. So things are changing rapidly. Here's a nutshell of what is clear hiking or what is hikable. No-mow from Springer to Sam's Gap in Tennessee. Then it's probably advisable to go ahead and flip around to Elk Garden for now because there's a lot of places between Sam's Gap and Elk Garden where you're going to have to get on and off. It's open, close, open, close. You'd have to shuttle around. It's going to be probably cost prohibitive to do that. And so the best thing to do is get to Elk Garden and then you're clear sailing all the way north. However, my feeling is that a lot of that's going to be cleared in between. You're going to have more and more stuff to where that's going to be, trail north of Sam's Gap is going to be cleared all the way into Irwin there eventually. And I'll be coming out with a video about some things you can expect that's going to be different for the class of 2025. And just remember though that hikable does not mean that that section is open. So you need to get online, maybe carry a screenshot of this right here to see what's open, and this changes on a regular basis. But the ATC puts out a chart of what's open and what's closed. So not saying that you should go into a closed area, but there's more and more areas that are hikable that are hikable through closed areas, and hopefully, for whatever reason why the Pisgah is closed and all the other national forests along the trail are open, hopefully the Pisgah will start opening up areas in there so that we can get back onto the trail. It's also important that you understand that even in areas that are open, there are roads that have been washed out. There are roads that may still be blocked, and particularly fire roads, and so emergency services may not be available as fast or even at all if you get in some of those areas in there. And then of course hiking, while not a dangerous sport, you can be injured in hiking. And now that we got blowdowns and stuff like that to contend with, that you are going to have to hike around or step over or crawl under, then that just makes it a little more dangerous than it is normal. You're likely going to encounter dangers like, blowdowns that you got to step over. They're going to be blowdowns that are under tension that you don't know when they're going to give way. Just because it hasn't given way since the hurricane doesn't mean that all of a sudden it's not going to release. It's got to release sometime, right? A dead man's got to fall out of the woods sometime, right? Out of the treetop. So we're going to have some washed out bridges. There's going to be some severe erosion. There will be places where root balls popped up and the trail is now vertical, and you're going to have to go around that root ball. But it's important for us to get out there and hike for 2 reasons. One, mentally, we need that. We need to get out there and hike. It's good for you physically as well, but you've also got people out there that service the community, the hiker community, and they get income from it. And some people need that income. Some people use it as a second source of income, maybe a first source of income, maybe retirement income, but they need the income nonetheless. And so we need to get out there and support those people that are part of the hiker community and part of the folks that help us enjoy our hikes. Check out this link below. This is a playlist that'll show you how far we've come since the original Devastation, how things are going on in other towns out there. I'm going to keep adding to this playlist, and you can just go and follow that, and that way it'll be something that you can reference. Folks, that's all I've got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.